If you spent any time looking into how to get your Shopify store visible in search engines or AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google AI overviews, you've probably seen a lot of advice on ranking, being recommended, and being cited. And the honest answer is that you don't directly control any of that. What you do control is what your store is actually telling those tools about itself. Every time search engines or AI search systems access your store, there are three specific things they can use to understand it. And how clean those things are decides how well they can understand your products. Most Shopify stores actually have gaps in at least one of them, and merchants usually don't realize that. In this video, I'm going to walk you through each, what they look like when they are set up correctly, and what Shopify gives you by default, and how you can check your own store in about 10 minutes. So let's get started. So let's see what AI tools first read to better understand what you're doing on your Shopify store. These are the three main signals crawlers and AI search systems can use. The first one is your structured data, which is a block of code in your page source that tells crawlers exactly what the page is about in a format that they don't have to guess anything at all. It's not visible to your customers, it's written specifically so machines can read it cleanly. And the second one is your actual content. The product descriptions, the collection descriptions, the FAQ sections. This is what tells AI tools if your page has anything worth quoting when somebody asks them a question about your product and about your collections. And the third one is actually your structure. The way your menu is built, the breadcrumbs on your pages, the links between your collections and products. This is what decides of whether crawlers can reach your pages in the first place. A page that nothing links to is essentially invisible, no matter how good the first two things are. Okay, so let's have a look at structured data. When Google or an AI search system looks at a product page, one of the clearest things they can use is this block of code. It's called the JSON-LD, and it sits inside your page source. And the main reason it matters is that it gives the AI tools a labeled list instead of asking them to guess. It basically communicates the product name, the price, the brand, the rating, and etc. in a way that AI tools can understand more easily. And now let me show you what proper structured data actually looks like on a real Shopify store. To do that, I'm going to use Gallison, one of our clients, because everything is set up there correctly. Then after that, I'm going to show you what Shopify gives you out of the box, and actually this is much less than most people realize. Here is a product page from Gallison, and if I go ahead and click view page source, I actually go ahead and see the page source, and when I search for LD JSON, I can see the JSON-LD files implemented. So I can see that there's the product block. You can see with the image, the description, the brand, the offer with the price, currency, availability, and the URL. There's a rating block tied directly to the product. There's actually also a breadcrumb block which shows the path from home page to this page, and there's an organization block which describes Gallison as a brand. So this is what the good one looks like. So now let's go ahead and see what Shopify gives you by default, because the gap between the two is actually bigger than most people realize. Many Shopify themes output a basic product block on product pages using Shopify's built-in structured data filter. That typically includes the name, image, description, brand, URL, and a basic offer with price, currency, and availability. The exact fields depend on the theme that you're using. Now let's see the 4 things that are usually missing, and more importantly, what each one actually does. So let's get started with the rating data wired correctly to the product. Shopify itself doesn't generate review schema at all. It depends entirely on the review app you're using. And here is a common pattern worth knowing about it. In many Shopify setups, the review app puts rating schema on the page as a separate block and not nested inside the product block. So from a crawler's point of view, that means you have a product over here and a rating sitting somewhere else, and the connection between them is not always clear. What you want to do is to get your rating data nested inside the product block with the rating for that specific product, not a store-wide average that gets the same number repeated on every product. For AI search systems, product-level rating data gives a clearer, more machine-readable signal than a generic store-wide rating, because they're trying to understand each product on its own, not the brand in general. So the second thing that's usually missing is your return policy expressed as structured data. I'm not talking about the policy page on your store, actually. The policy turned into a labeled log in your schema, like how many days customers have to return something, what kind of refund they get, who pays the return shipping, what conditions apply. These kind of things should be expressed in structured data. Google supports this as merchant return policy, and it can show return information in Google's product results when the schema is there. The reason this matters beyond Google is that returns are exactly the kind of questions shoppers ask on AI tools before they decide to buy something. Structured return policy data gives crawlers and AI systems a clean, labeled version of your terms instead of asking them to scrape your policy page and figure out which rule applies to which product. Most Shopify stores shouldn't assume this is there by default. It needs to be checked, actually. If your store has a return policy page but no merchant return policy schema, that is one of the easier high-value gaps to fix. The next one that's usually missing is the breadcrumb schema. There are two parts to it that we should talk about. First, there is the visible breadcrumb, which is like home, category, product trail that you can see at the top of a product page. And there is the schema version, which is a separate block in your source that gives crawlers the same path in a format that they can read. The visible one helps your customers move around your store. The schema version tells crawlers exactly where this product sits in your catalog, which they can use to understand what category the product actually belongs to. The schema version can also show your category path in Google search results instead of just the raw URL, which makes it easier for a person to scan when they decide if they want to click or not. Whether your Shopify theme outputs this schema is theme dependent, actually. Some themes do it, but many do not. Even when the visible breadcrumb is on the page, the schema version often is not there. But there's also another issue that we should talk about it. Google's structured data guidelines say markup should reflect the visible page content. If the schema path doesn't match what your customers actually sees, it can reduce Google's confidence in that markup and make rich results features ineligible. Actually, the two need to match. And the last thing is the organization block, which describes your brand at the store level. Some Shopify themes include a minimal version with just the store name, but what's usually missing is the full version. That means your logo, your contact information, your address, if you have a physical location, and what's called the same as property. Same as is a list of links to your official profiles like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Wikipedia, if you have one. Organization schema and same as links help crawlers connect your store to your official brand profiles across the web. Google says the same as property can be used to help just understand an organization. The clearer the connection between your store and the other official profiles, the easier it is for search engines and AI tools to treat them as the same entity rather than separate, unrelated pages. We talked about 4 things that most Shopify stores are missing in terms of their structured data. Now I'm going to show you an easier way to understand what's missing on your store. Instead of reading your source code page by page, you can use a free tool by Risify, which is called the Schema Checker, that does the job for you. So basically you go ahead and paste your store URL, and that lets it analyze your structured data. What it does is basically it samples pages from across your store, the product pages, the collection pages, and it shows you which schema types exist and which fields inside each one are filled in and where you have conflicts. Conflicts are actually worth flagging separately because this is one of the most damaging problems. A conflict typically happens when 2 or 3 different sources, maybe your theme, Shopify, maybe a review app or an SEO app, all output their own version of product schema, for example, on the same page with slightly different data. And in this kind of cases, one says the price is one number, another says it's something else. One has the rating, another does not. Google's structured data guidelines warn that incorrect or misleading markup can make rich results pages ineligible, actually. So even if one version on your page is perfect, if there are 2 or more on the same page disagreeing with it, none of them is actually doing the job. The Schema Checker tells you which sources are generating each block, so you can exactly understand where the conflict is coming from. So now let's go ahead and see how it works. I'm using BadNo here, which is another client that we've been working with. All the schema types I mentioned are here across the sample. The fields are filled in, and there are no conflicts between Risify, the theme, and another app. This is the kind of clean output, as you can see the score here as well, the schema out score. This is the kind of result that you aim for. So you can see it also shows you what to fix if there's any kind of anything missing in as a recommended field in your schemas. So you can see that it warns you, so you can go ahead and act on it. You can just fix it. And it also shows you the coverage details, like what is included in each schema type. You can see here, like on your product pages, what's included on your collection pages, on your blog pages, and other pages too. So here you should be careful about one thing actually. If your scan comes back with a very low score, that actually doesn't mean Google or any AI tool can't see your store at all. It means that your store is sending less information than it could. And the information it is sending may be less clean. It just shows you that. The score is a diagnostic tool to find the gaps. It's not a prediction of whether you will or you will not show up somewhere. Okay, so this is how the Schema Checker by the free Schema Checker by Risify works. Let's go to the content side now. The structured data that we just talked about tells Google and AI tools what the page is. The content on the page tells them if the page is actually worth using as a source. Both have to be there actually. Perfect structured data on a page with no real content is like a labeled folder that is empty. The label is right, but there's nothing inside to pull from. Here is a collection page from Galison, and let's have a look at what is on this page besides the grid of products. So at the top of the page you can see a short description introducing the category, and below the product grid you can see a longer description, so it gives more details about the collection and the products in this collection. So right below that you can see a FAQ section, and it just includes real questions and real answers about the jigsaw puzzles, as you can see. So this is the content structure that AI tools can actually pull from. The short description gives them a one-line answer when someone asks, like, what kind of jigsaw puzzles does Galison make? And the long description gives them paragraphs of context they can paraphrase. The FAQ section gives them direct question and answer pairs they can cite when someone asks about piece count, materials, difficulty, and etc. etc. So now just compare this to what an average Shopify collection page looks like. A 2-sentence description at the top, that says something like, discover our beautiful collection of jigsaw puzzles, then 60 products in a grid, then nothing, just a footer. There's nothing on that page for a crawler to extract beyond the product titles themselves. Even if every product in that grid has perfect schema on its own page, the collection page itself has nothing to say about the category. So actually this same logic applies on product pages too. A product description that says beautiful, high quality, you will love it. It just tells an AI tool nothing it can use. When someone asks ChatGPT, what is this puzzle made of? Or is this puzzle suitable for kids? The AI needs something specific in that description to pull from. If it's not there, either the AI says it doesn't know, or it guesses from the product name and usually gets it wrong. What works on a product page is a description that explains what the product actually is, what it's made of, what dimensions and specifications it has, what makes it different from similar products, and who it is for. And none of that is marketing language. It's just factual information presented clearly enough that someone unfamiliar with your brand could understand it. On Galaxy, the long descriptions, the short descriptions, the FAQ sections, they're all set up through Risify. The AI content agent generates them at scale across the catalog using the product and collection data that already exists in Shopify, and FAQ management handles the questions and answers. The reason I mention how it is set up is that doing this manually on a store with hundreds and thousands of products is the part where most Shopify merchants actually give up. So Risify exists to remove that actually. But the underlying point stands regardless of the tool. The content has to exist on the page, and it has to actually explain something specific. Without that, the structured data is doing all the work, and the structured data alone is not enough. About the site structure now, because this is the one that is easy to overlook generally, because it's not about anything on a single page. It's just about how your pages are connected to each other. And the reason it matters is just very simple. Google uses links to discover pages, and AI search crawlers also need accessible, crawlable URLs to retrieve content. If a page has nothing linking to it, or if it's just buried 4 levels deep with weak links along the way, the crawler may never reach it. And a page they don't reach is a page they cannot understand, no matter how good the structured data is and the content is. So there are actually 3 specific things to look at here, and I'm going to walk you through them on Galaxy so it becomes concrete for you. The first thing is your main navigation menu. So on Galaxy, as you can see, the menu mirrors how the catalog is actually organized. The jigsaw puzzles is a top level category. Inside it, there are subcategories by piece count, by theme, by collaboration. That structure actually means a crawler reaching the homepage can follow a clear path from homepage to a top level category, to subcategory, to product in just 3 clicks. That is also how a real customer would naturally browse. So the 2 actually paths overlap. The problem on most Shopify stores is that the menu gets built around what the owner thinks looks nice, rather than how the catalog is actually organized. So you end up with a menu that links to a handful of featured collections and leaves dozens of other collections orphaned, only reachable from the footer or from one product page somewhere. Those orphaned collections are pages crawlers struggle to find and pages customers never see. If you have collections in your store that don't appear anywhere in your main menu, that is the first thing and first sign of this problem. The second one is the breadcrumbs, actually. So I mentioned the schema side of breadcrumbs earlier, and now let me show you the visible side and of the breadcrumbs. So on Galaxy, let me show you a product page actually, and how the breadcrumb looks on a product page, and then we talk about it. So on a product page, the breadcrumb, as you can see at the top, shows the path from home page to the relevant category to the product. the customer can use it to jump back at any level. The crawler reads it as a signal of where this product sits in your catalog, and the visible breadcrumb matches the schema breadcrumb in the source code, which is what Google's guidelines expect actually. Structured data should reflect the visible page content. Here is the thing about breadcrumbs on default Shopify. The default behavior in many themes is that the breadcrumb is based on the URL path the customer just has arrived through, not a fixed category hierarchy. So the same product can show two different breadcrumbs depending on whether the customer arrived from the home page, from a collection page, or directly from a Google search. That inconsistency is exactly what to do, what you don't want to do, because the crawlers don't want to see it, and it makes the category context for a product look really unstable. The fix is a breadcrumb that is fixed to the product's actual primary category, so it is the same path no matter how someone got here. So it should be fixed like this one. And let's go back to the collection page. So this is this is another important point. So this is how the collection pages connect to each other and also the products. So look at this collection page from Galaxy. Below the product grid, you can see the breadcrumb on top, and you can see, let's go scroll down. You can see the related searches just below the product grid. The related collections actually. So these show. These are not actually decoration. Every link in those sections, as you can see here, is just an internal link from this collection page to another on the same step. So that just gives the crawlers a way to discover collections they might not have reached from the menu, and it gives customers a way to keep browsing when they don't find what they want in the current collection. This is what fixes the dead-end problem, actually. A customer who lands on a collection page and doesn't see what they want either leaves your store or scrolls back up to the menu and tries something else, and must leave. Related searches and a collection menu give them somewhere to go inside your store instead of just bouncing back to Google. So you can see the related searches here, and also the collection menus right at the top, just below the short description. So from the crawler side, the same links help them reach pages deeper in your catalog that the main menu may not link to directly. So on Galaxy, the collection menu, the related searches, so you can see the collection menu and the related searches, and the fixed breadcrumb hierarchy are all set up through Risify's store structure features. That is how they got there. The underlying point is that your pages need to be connected in a way crawlers can follow and customers can use. If you check your store and find that your menu is missing collections, and also that your breadcrumbs change based on traffic source, or that your collection pages have no links to related collections or related searches, those are real gaps that the structure layer is telling you about. So you have seen what the good looks like on Galaxy. Here is how you can check your own store. For the first one, just go ahead and take a look at your schema using the free tool on risify.net, which is called the free Schema Checker. And then check your content. Just review your top collection pages and how they look in terms of content. And then go ahead and check your site structure. Like, try to see the number of clicks it takes from homepage to your products. So, and none of this actually needs a developer. So all the three checks combined take about just 10 minutes. For the first one, which is the structured data, your fastest option is to use the Schema Checker, which is free by Risify. You just paste in your store URL, and then it just analyzes your pages, and it flags the important points, so you can just go ahead and have a look and try to fix. For the second one, for content, just open your top 3 or 4 collection pages. Just look at what is on each page besides the product grid. And is there a description that actually explains what the category is? Is there an FAQ section? Like you can see here. Is there an FAQ section with the right questions and answers? Then just go ahead and open top 5 or 10 product pages, and are the descriptions specific enough to help someone understand your products? And for the third one, which is the site structure, just go ahead and start on a home page. Try to reach one of your deepest product pages using only the navigation menu and the links on the pages you visit. Just count the clicks. If it just takes more than 3 or 4 clicks to get there, there's the structure layer telling you crawlers and customers are working too hard to reach that page. Then look at the breadcrumbs on a few collection pages and product pages and try to see if they are consistent or do they change based on what page you came from. So if you go through this test and find gaps in one or more things, you have 2 ways forward. You can fix them yourself, which means working in your theme code for the structured data and the breadcrumbs, writing descriptions and FAQs manually for your top pages and rebuilding your menu and internal linking by hand. Or you can use Risify. It handles structured data output. It fixes your breadcrumbs. It just adds collection menu. It just adds related searches. As you can see, it helps you with the FAQ content creation. So the link is in the description if you want to try it on your own store. The thing I want you to take from this video is the framing. You can't control if Google or ChatGPT or Perplexity decide to recommend your products. That is their decision based on their own ranking signals and policies that change all the time. What you can do is to set up your foundation well and send them what they need when they look. If these things are set up properly, you've done your part. The rest is on them. The post linked in the description goes deeper on each with specific fields, specific tools, and the most common ways stores fall short. If you found this useful, please hit that subscribe button so you see the next videos in the series. So see you in the next one.